He's becoming our Friday regular, and I love it. It's a good chance to end the week on some positivity. Jason Demers, former NHLer, NHL Network analyst. What's up, JD?
What's going on, boys? Happy Halloween, post-Halloween.
Yeah, post-Halloween. Not hungover, though. We stayed responsible. We had a show to do today.
Yes. Even after an Oiler win.
It was tough. It was tough. The Nation beers were calling me like the Green Goblin mask in my fridge after watching Edmonton pick apart Nashville. I want to talk Halloween first. Your costume, your Reno 911 costume, was almost better than I envisioned it. That was beautiful.
Yeah, new boot goofing, buddy. New boot goofing. Genuine ostrich, 3 payments, baby. Oh, my wife went as Terry too from Reno 911. So I don't know if anybody saw that. I couldn't put her out, but it was good. We kind of try to go out as all out as possible for these shows every day and every year. And then I have people in the production hall waving to me now today because it was the talk of the town around these parts. So I showed a little bit too much nuts, but we got through it, and thank God they only made me wear it for the Open. I didn't have to sit on those chairs, but it was a fun night. It was a good night of hockey. How'd you guys like it, the show the last few weeks?
I didn't tune in yesterday because I was just purely dialed into the Oil. I tuned in last week. I do think, again, I liked week 1. I think it's getting better, though. There's like a really delicate balance, I think, to pulling off a show like that of the talk and then like showing the highlights and not missing goals. But I think, and I don't know if it's just me noticing it, you guys have been doing more of like the quad box and having more games on at once. And I like that side of it.
Yeah, I think they've kind of recognized that, and they're trying to get more fans and show the action and just have us come in. So it was good. It was good. It was a good feeling of it last night. It was fun.
And a good dub for the Oil. We talked a little bit in the preseason about Noah Philp and how great he's been since just coming back to the sport of hockey. And he makes his debut last night, picks up an assist. He looked like an NHL vet in that game last night. There were no jitters, no mistakes, just solid hockey.
I mean, first with Kesselring and then now with Philp, I'm 2 for 2 on just guys to say, hey, look out for them. They're coming. I mean, look, not to mention as well, I was diving into his notes. I mean, 9 for 13 in the faceoff dot. That is something very much needed on the Oilers side, especially with Connor being out. I mean, again, you look at that, you break down that whole goal that Corey Perry scored. I mean, great forecheck by Caggiula. He supports the puck. Philp supports it beautifully, stays quiet with his feet, doesn't get over horny as a young kid. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. The boys in the back are on fire. Look at him just staying slow. He's an option for Perry, goes to the net. And then this pass, the confidence to pull this off in your first game. And then, that I thought that line was great for all the times they were out there. I thought they were very effective. I think Noah Philp, I heard you talk about it, Tyler, the other day. I don't think he's going to go back down. I just feel like he's, and I love Derek Ryan and as a human being and as a player, but he just gives a level of depth and size, and he can fight too. He's tough as shit, and he can score, he can pass. He's got it all, and he's looked more confident than he looked when I played with him in the minors, and I saw that he had that. If he could just come, I always said he was like Luis Mendoza in Mighty Ducks, just was always a little bit too foot happy. He was too fast for his own good, and he just needed to kind of slow his skating down. And we talked a lot about it, me and him, of just, smooth is slow, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And I think it's just a great story, and he's a great human being. And whether they recognize this and send him back down, but I don't see him going back down, even when Connor comes back.
Yeah, you wanted to ask about the other part of that line.
I was going to say, Caggiula, obviously the other part that came up as well. I just wanted to ask, how difficult is it to kind of be out of the league for so long and then come back into the NHL like he did?
609 days between NHL games for Caggiula.
Yeah, and he's done really well in his American League and came up and was pretty impactful yesterday too.
I mean, if this shows you anything, whether it's the Edmonton's system of developing in Bakersfield or just the quality of drafting or trades and signings, recognizing that, listen, I know guys will not have played in the NHL for a year. And I kind of got stuck with that the year I missed and then tried to come back. I feel like teams don't have enough foresight in the league to be like, hey, like, oh, this guy's been out of the league for 360, 600 days. Like, he can't play anymore. It's like, no, the kid at one point knew how to play. You just got to put trust in him and put some faith that he can do it as long as he's earning it. And if he earns it, don't stonewall him just because you think because he hasn't seen NHL action in 600 days, like it's this fairy tale league that you can't play in, like you're dead if you're out. And there's a lot of people in the league that are like that. And a lot of guys get fucked because they miss a year and then everybody's like, well, he can't play. He missed a whole year. It's like, no, he's been playing, Drake's been playing his whole life. And he was an impactful player at one time in the bottom six. And he did have some up and down moments. But, I think with this Edmonton team, and I think you have the perfect guy in that fourth line in Corey Perry that he's kind of shown since he's been there in his whole career, like he's got a winning pedigree and knows how to play the right way. And he just tells these kids, Drake's older now, but he tells Noah, and then this is how we're going to play tonight. Go to the right spots. We're going to use each other, work, stay close. And then when we can get a chance, we're going to get a chance. We're going to play sound defensively. And he comes in and, I think it's as much on those guys as it is on Corey in terms of Corey's got to be the guy to lead them. And he does such a great job of insulating the young guys. And, it's just such a delicate balance. But, I'm happy for Drake. I played with him in Arizona during the lockout just a bit. Not the lockout, but the COVID year. He's a great guy, good family man, just a super, super guy all around. And he's another one I root for. So, that fourth line was great. Solid fourth line. I know I'm always a little tentative in judging Edmonton when they play Nashville because it's just one of those teams, they have their number. And it's like it's Leonidas from 300 when he's playing Nashville. He's so good. So I always take it with a grain of salt. But I just thought it overall was, you guys touched on a little bit when I was in the backstage here. Just the physicality was there. They need to be physical. They're not as fast as they were last year, so they're going to have to be a little bit more physical to slow teams down. And, Podkolzin's did what he needs to do, especially on the Arvidsson goal. He got in on the forecheck. Great job along the wall, battling, had that fight, shown he's tough. He's playing. I think he's been playing well and well enough. And you can see, we talked about a little bit, and I'm rambling now, but we talked a little bit about giving Arvidsson time with Leon and Podkolzin. Let them sit together, let Leon get comfortable, and it's starting to come along. So it's good. I think there's a lot of good in that game.
Yeah, tons. I tweeted yesterday. I said it's a lot easier to win without the best player in the world when you have another top 5 player in your lineup and he's playing like it. But we've been hard on Draisaitl at points, the two of us this year, because there are, and you've touched on this too, there are some tendencies in his game that kind of drive you nuts at points. But man, when he is on and playing like he was last night, he's just an unstoppable force. And again, if they're going to get through this, call it 10 more games without Connor McDavid, having him producing like this and playing like this, it goes a long way in making up for what you're losing.
That's a hell of a shooting percentage.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. Well, and listen, yeah, he's got some tendencies at times you want to pull your hair out, but it's also tough. We were talking about it last night. I think I was talking with Mike Rupp about it, and I said, who's got it worse? A team losing game 7 in the finals or the team winning for a hangover the next year? Because I feel like it, depending on what you have in the room leadership wise and behind the bench, I feel like it could be tough losing that game 7. The way they lost it, you just want to kind of get right back to there again. And you want to just skip the preseason and skip the season and just say, hey, let's get to the playoffs. And you could see that early. These guys are like, oh, like we got to go grind through this again to get there, because not to say that if they win the cup, they're never going to try anymore, but you can see Florida's excited. They want to get it again. They tasted it. The year prior when they lost it, they were so banged up. They knew that they probably weren't going to be able to outlast Vegas, but they just had a hunger, and then they won, and you could hear them talking about, like, we want to get that feeling again. Same thing with Tampa when they're on that, getting that win, but losing game 7 after coming back from 3-0. I feel like they were just deflated, and it went all through the summer into the start of the season, and you could see them starting to come out of it now. Like people are starting to wake up, and maybe it's just the new guys coming in being like, a little bit of excitement and enthusiasm to be on this team, but you can see those guys starting to kind of just a little listful, and you're just like, oh, like, why do I have to go through preseason again? You heard Leon make a comment early in the season, in preseason, being like, it's, this is a nothing game. And then it started with the season. They're a little like, oh my God, we got to do this 82 games to get to the playoffs and meaningful hockey. But, it's part of the job. And it seems like the last 3-4 games are coming out of it slowly. And I think they still have enough talent in their room. Hyman getting on the board's huge too. And that's a big one for them. And I think getting some solidifying their back end is probably the most important.
Yeah. Before we let you go, the question we've been floating to all of our former NHLer guests this week, with Noah Philp making his NHL debut, story of your NHL debut. What do you remember about it?
We played Colorado. It was -1. I got into it with Darcy Tucker, and I think I told him, hey, let the young kids play, you old bastard, and just hang them up. And now being out of the league, I like regret having had said that, because it just like I was thinking I was cool, but I'm like, man, this guy had a great career and was kind of on his last legs, and I'm just sitting there. Oh my God, my first game, like just a young punk, and that was a little shit disturber. But I finished the game -1, and then I got a text from a former player I played with. It was like, hey, congrats on your first NHL game. You're on pace for -82, so keep it up. I was just like, son of a bitch. We won 5-2, and it was fun. It was you only get it once. You got to enjoy it, and you take it as a young kid you get nervous. I feel like a lot of guys, but you heard Paul Maurice talk about it, and I had a lot of guys that, Joe Thornton, those guys came up to me in my first game, were like, hey, like, just know that like the greatest players that ever played the game all played a first game too. So like, just go enjoy it. Doesn't make or break your career. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's a culmination of work. It's for your family. It's for your friends. It's for everybody that supported you throughout your youth hockey and onward. And it's a show of love to everybody kind of in your life. So I really feel, because most guys, if not all, have their parents there, and it's to show them hey, all the work and the hard work that you did and they put in, driving you to practice and spending money on your equipment was all worth it in the end. And so have fun with it. So I know a lot of guys sometimes get in the weeds of wanting to score 3 goals, but it's like, man, make the turnover that game if you have to, or just have fun though. Like play loose, play easy. And that's what I kind of messaged Noah Philp before the game, was just everybody's had their first NHL game that's played and had long careers. Rob Blake's and Wayne Gretzky had his first game. It's not going to make or break anything, but if you have fun and play loose, you'll play better than just being nervous. So just kind of be grateful for everything and enjoy the moment. So, and he looked great.
You were -1 in your debut, and then I'm just looking at your game logs. You were +2 the next night, and you didn't have another minus game for 17 games.
There you go.
I was a pretty good player, man. You guys are starting to research some stuff and be like, shit, this guy was actually pretty good. I was in quiet markets, man. I was in no one knew, but you start going through those game logs, and you'll be like, shit, this guy was legit. Yeah, well, listen.
Yeah, I believe it. One more, because I always like mixing in one from the audience. Seven wants to know who's the best coach you've ever had, and then says Todd McClellan ?
Different stages of my career. I was, unfortunately, I was a little bit of a rebel against authority, and I got very emotional and took a lot of things personal when I didn't need to. And who knows why that was, but Todd was great for my start of my career to teach me about professionalism and consistency. And obviously Trent Yanni was my D coach, so I spent a lot of time with him. He was a great mentor. And the best coach I've had was, I've said it a lot, is I had him for 3-4 years, is Scotty Allen. He's in Washington right now. He's the assistant coach. He's one of the best not talked about enough coaches in the league, just in terms of how well he is detail oriented. He makes guys better. He teaches guys the right way to play, and his penalty kill structure is like second to none on how he explains how to penalty kill the right way for not only defensemen but forwards. And he's just fantastic. So I have so much love for him. He's great, and he was so good for my career and at the stage I was at as a veteran. And he teaches in a different way, but he's a funny guy. I love him. He always, he never tried to make guys play one way. He said, whatever you do it as great as possible, as good as you can, and don't do anything you're not comfortable doing, because, I don't want you to try to play outside yourself. And that was also great for young guys and old guys to hear. So he was one of them. But yeah, Todd and Trent Yawney were fantastic as well at my first start.
Great stuff as always, JD. Appreciate you making time for us on a Friday, as you always do.
All right, I'll see you guys on the network watching this Florida Dallas game right now. Florida's just walking them like a dog right now.
Global series,
which is good.
Yeah.
We need it. So global series, yeah. Finland, huva. All right.
Yeah, see you, Jason. Talk to you next Friday.
Fuck you guys. No, kidding. Love you.
He's always the hardest guest to get off the show, because I'm always like, let's talk about something else. Let's keep going. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.